Hello everyone, John Gillen here with the great Gruesome Herzog, and tonight our special guest, Jamie Noel. Jamie, how are you?
I'm awesome, how are you?
I'm really good. Gruesome, how are you?
Doing great, thank you.
Cool. Right. Jamie, as you know, this is a boxing podcast, so I'd like to start off with asking how you got into boxing.
No, I do. I'm a fan of boxing. I am a fan of boxing. Okay, so I've taken a couple boxing lessons before. I'm not amazing. I wouldn't try to do it professionally, but I can definitely throw it down. I would love to do it in an action movie one day. I like to do my own fight scenes and stunts and stuff like that. So.
And you got to spar with what was it, Robert Duran?
Oh God, I did. Okay, so this is the craziest story. I was dating this guy that lives in Panama because I'm back from Miami. We met in Miami, and he is a local from Panama, and he's like, "Come visit me in Panama. Let's go on vacation." And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And he's like, "I'm taking boxing lessons with this guy," and he didn't tell me who it was. And I was like, he's like, "Do you want to go boxing?" I was like, "For sure, I'm always down for skydiving or whatever fun adventure." So he takes me to this house we're in Panama, and we pull up to this house, and it's this beautiful, kind of mansion style, but kind of a little bit looks like, no one's in it, very kind of hidden from the street. And we walk in, and there's all these guys kind of sitting around this poker table smoking cigars, and it's I had no idea, I'm not very keen on the boxing stuff, but it was Roberto Duran's house. And he's like, "We're going to take a boxing lesson with Roberto Duran." I'm like, "Okay." So it's all the guys gambling and stuff like that, smoking cigars, and they're like, "Okay, you got to weigh yourself first." So they made me step on the scale, and then we actually went out to his pool where he teaches private lessons with some of his friends. And he's like, "Okay," it was in the rainforest, and it was all raining and super humid in Panama during the summer. I swear it had to have been 100 degrees. And he whooped my ass for an hour and a half. I was running laps around his pool and sparring with his trainers and stuff like that. And he's laughing, "You're strong for a girl," in Spanish. They had to translate it to me or whatever. But it was such a crazy experience. Totally unexpected.
Wow, that's a cool. That's a cool experience.
Yeah, and then he's "Take a picture with my belt," so that the guys maybe take a picture with one of his championship belts.
That's cool.
And I was like, yeah. So I mean, I feel Roberto Duran. He's just he was so talented at his time, and someone has to make a movie about him. Why haven't they?
That's true. Why haven't they?
Good idea. Well, Gruesome co-hosts another show with Gino McGee, who's very much into boxing, so I think he's going to be a bit jealous of that story.
That's once in a lifetime that happens.
Yeah, definite.
It'll never happen again,
Well, if you make a film of his life story, that'd be pretty cool.
I've thought about it. Actually, I tried to get one of my producer friends. I said, one of my big producer friends, I was like, "You're never going to guess who I had boxing lessons with in Panama." And he's like, "Who?" And I'm like, "Blah, blah, blah." I was like, "You should make a movie on it." And he's like, "Maybe in a couple years." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
The first one I've got written down from 2010 is Cage Dreams.
Oh, yeah, that was my first movie set I ever stepped foot on in my life. And I was just trying the acting stuff out, and it was the Guzzo brothers. They're great indie filmmakers. And it was actually, coincidentally, a boxing movie. And I played one of the ring girls in it. It was a short. I think it played at some of the film festivals down in Florida. So.
Pete Guzzo, right?
Yeah, they're great. They're great indie film guys for sure.
And the next one is another short, The X's.
The X's, yes, Michael G, indie filmmaker. He's doing financing now, but that was a fun one. It went to a couple of festivals, and just the whole indie film thing. Yeah.
We go on to Jump, another short.
Jump, another indie film. As you can see, I've done my time. Dun, dun, dun.
we like indie films.
Yeah, I like them too.
So can you tell us anything about Jump?
Yeah, Jump, it's basically like, there's an audition. It's like, what will you do to make it in Hollywood? And I play a character that's like, I'll do anything to make it in Hollywood, and I actually jump off a building so I can be famous.
Oh, jeez.
That's the premise.
Oh, wow.
And
it's dark comedy. It's like, yeah, I'll kill myself so I can make it. Who thinks of that?
That's pretty cool. Then we're going to go on quite a hit film you had a part in, The Hangover Part 2.
I shot stills for The Hangover Part 2. God, I freaking love Todd Phillips. I'm such a Todd Phillips fan. I hope one day I can star in one of his movies. He's just brilliant at everything that he does. I got to shoot still photography with Mr. Chow. We did like to stay on a cigarette boat, or they're like, where's Chow at? And it was me and my girlfriend, Kelly Stoner, that got to shoot stills with him. So that was a cool experience.
The next one on the list, J. Edgar.
So I got a call from the background casting department, and I, like, at that point I was like, you know, you don't need to do background work. They're like, it's a Clint Eastwood film. So I was like, okay, first of all, I just like want to watch Clint Eastwood work. You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan of him also.
Yep.
So I was in one of the racetrack scenes with Leonardo DiCaprio, and just Clint's sets are phenomenal. Like, zero pressure. He never yells, roll, or cut. And he doesn't, like, scream at the actors. He gets, like, real close from their ear and, like, whispers to them. So his directing style is, like, amazing.
Good name to put on your resume.
Like, just to see him work is just one of those things. It's like,
yeah.
How do you say no to that? Like, be a fly on the wall.
It's one thing to see it on film, but to see it in person is another.
Oh, he's a phenomenal director.
The next one, Bikini Spring Break.
Bikini Spring Break. It was an asylum movie. It's comedy, fun. You know, we lose our scholarship, so we go on this road trip to try to keep our funding for our band program. I played a band dork, and like everything potentially goes wrong on this trip that could happen to us. And it's one of those swearing, kind of drinking alcohol movies that you watch at 3 a.m. with your guy friend. It's on Amazon and Netflix and iTunes. So, and it did pretty well. It has like a cute little fan following of younger boys.
Yeah. Well, I'm a good friends with Jared Cohn, so he's
oh, you're friends with? I love Jared. He's amazing. He's great. Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Next one we'll talk about. Great film, great cast. 7 Psychopaths.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so I get the call. They're like, you know, you have to go to this movie. This girl didn't show up, like, for the opening scene of 7 Psychopaths. And I'm like, okay, who is it? Like, I'm in bed. And they're like, you have to be there in 10 minutes. So I'm like, 10 minutes flat for the opening scene of 7 Psychopaths. And I'm like, okay, where is it? They're like, Hollywood sign. You have to drive onto the park. You don't have time to park, and I'm to pick you up. I'm like, okay. They're like, hair wet. I show up on the bridge for the opening scene, and I think Michael Pitt and the other guy from Boardwalk Empire in the opening scene. And literally, they did my hair and makeup on the bridge and then shot it. Right then and there. It was there and done.
That's a hell of an experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like, it's so cool because if you've ever been in between like the Hollywood signs, it's like this curvy road. So I was like literally drinking a coffee like with bedheads, like driving on this crazy curvy road up to this like movie set. And then next thing you know, someone's head gets blown out. I think that, like, honestly, best opening scene of a dark comedy movie ever, 7 Psychopaths. It's an epic opening scene. Have you guys seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, it's great. Are you a fan? You better be a fan.
Yeah, I said it's an excellent film.
Yeah, he's almost too intelligent though for most people. Jokes and stuff like that. My job.
On the film, did you get to speak much to Christopher Walken?
I wasn't in the scene with him. I was in the opening scene, so he wasn't there.
The Turn, 2013.
Mm-hmm. That was an independent film shot with a group of indie filmmakers, and that one is still in post-production.
What was your experience in the haunted house in 2013?
So, Marlon Wayans was great, and they were like, it's a nude part, and you're always kind of, as a woman in Hollywood, you're like, what am I doing? And they're like, you're going to play a coke whore. And you're going to play a coke whore. I'm like, okay, but he's hilarious, so I said yes, because sometimes you just say yes because you like people, and it's funny. Like, people have, if I'm like, oh, I like you and you're funny, I might say yes. We had, like, these great big piles of fake cocaine in front of us, and Leanna Mendoza, the other girl who played a coke whore with me, she gets smacked in the face. The maid in the movie, it's just did you guys see A Haunted House? It's funny.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, really, I mean, more into horror, but every now and again you need something a bit lighter, and it was just so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, he does a good job.
I haven't seen it yet, so.
They're making a sequel, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not in the sequel, but
You're not?
Leanna's in the sequel, so that's cool. But I don't know, it's great. It's a great idea to make fun of paranormal activity movies.
Definitely, because they're garbage anyways.
Yeah, I was just about to say the comedy ones are better than the actual ones, so we get something out of it.
But they should make a spoof Blair Witch and run around with I'm dying.
I'm under a blanket with a flashlight under my chin. What am I going to do now?
I think there is a spoof Blair Witch.
They're coming to get me.
I can't think what it's called off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a low budget spoof.
I'm sure someone's done it, yeah.
How about Speed Dragon in 2013? What was your experience?
Speed Dragon, indie movie, Shown That Can, Bai Ling is in it. I'm in the movie I'm making out with one of the lead players in it. The movie has been released and I have yet to see it. But it did really well at festivals. It did that, and I've been a supporter, but I just haven't had an opportunity to view it yet.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
I've yet to watch it too, so.
Yeah.
The next one to go on to is Two Guys and a Gal. I haven't seen it, but I've viewed the trailer on YouTube, and the trailer's just hilarious without seeing the film.
Yes. So I produced and wrote Two Guys and a Gal, and my idea was my idea was take $50,000 and throw a party movie with my friends. So that's what I did. And it's basically the story is a girl has a divorce and she doesn't have money to take a trip. So she takes a can flip trip with her two gay best friends. And it's on the dark humor side and then on the super left field comedy side too. And it has visual effects, and the whole thing is kind of shot. It has that fear and loathing kind of premise to it, you never know what your mind's going to create. And it also has animation mixed in with it. I mean, we're having our first screening in LA the second week of January, a private screening, and then we're going to be at festivals with it. It's super, super left field. So I'm interested to see how people react.
Yeah.
Definitely makes you feel uncomfortable. That's every premise of it is if you're sitting in your chair, I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable. That's the point. It has animation in it too, that whole animation vibe to it too, and optical illusions and all these cool visual effects. So it kind of makes you think.
Next one, completed but not yet released, I don't believe. School Dance.
School Dance. They turned names to the official name on the street is Click. They just changed it. It's over at Lionsgate right now, and it's a comedy also. Nick Cannon produced it. Nick Cannon produced it, and they haven't given us a release date for it yet. So all I know is it's crazy, it's funny, and there are lots and lots. Like, the cast on it just keeps going on, and people that aren't even listed are on that movie.
Your fantasy girlfriend.
Yes. You know who's Benjay from the New Boys?
No, I don't.
He's like the little boy. You look better with the light. Oh, thank God I'm not a singer.
That's all right.
You know, like, hey, I'm like his girlfriend in the movie. We just like do crazy things, and we smoke marijuana, and you know, do like high school things. I guess it's the high schoolers do nowadays, which is kind of corrupt. But smoke a lot of marijuana, and you know, get crazy.
The next film is the one that I'm really interested in. It's called Mall, only because of Vincent
D'Onofrio. Yeah,
He's
Vincent.
a fantastic actor.
Okay, so it's based on a book, and the book is called Mall. I think it was written like 10 years ago. It's just a great book when you read the book. It's basically like 5 characters that don't really know each other and how their lives all kind of come together. And it has that like dark, realistic, like middle America feel to it. It's like the Blue Valentine kind of feel.
Right.
So twisted, and how different people's lives end up affecting each other at one point. So the main character, he has a fantasy about a lingerie model because he isn't too much into his marriage that he has, so he has this obsession with masturbating, and he's always walking by windows of Victoria's Secret models and stuff like that, and looking at these women, wishing that, you know, that was what he had in his real life, and I'm that woman. So I'm that fantasy woman that he actually does get to meet in his fantasy. So it's a great book. It's a great movie, and I cannot wait for it to come out.
Nice.
It should be coming out at the end of this year. So I mean, great cast. Cameron Monaghan is just such a young, talented kid, and Mimi Rogers and Vincent have been producing for years. So
yep.
The book is amazing.
Another one on my list, My Happy Ending.
My Happy Ending is a movie that is in pre-production right now. It is a movie about a guy who on his bachelor party night questions if his wife is, you know, how does he know that it's the one for him? And it's comedy, a little bit of action, and like rom-com mostly. That one doesn't come out until 2015.
Yeah.
That's a long way away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these projects take time, like from the beginning to end, especially when you get in the anywhere from the $1 to $5 million mark on movies. Usually they take 2.5 years to go from pre-production to like finished product. So then when they go over budget, so they usually get kind of tricked in post-production to get a finished final product, I think. Another
one in production, Coleman.
I am not allowed to talk about that project at this time. There's a couple. I can't talk about Coleman. There's like actually 2 more projects that I have coming up. One I can talk about. It's called King Sod. It's an indie film. Mark Toma is the producer on it, and it's basically, it goes into the kinds of underworld of the AVOD community, and it's very political. That one is filming the beginning of next year and will be out around the beginning of 2015. And then the other project I'm involved on, I cannot speak about either. Because you don't want to tell everything before you're allowed to and then get in trouble. That's what I've learned.
Well, how about the prototype?
The prototype. Indie movie is been in post-production for 2 years, but it's great. It's a great concept. It should be out this next year coming up also.
Sweet.
I've only been doing the acting thing for 4 years, so either my small parts have just come out or my parts that are bigger parts are coming out this next year.
Right.
So I'm still kind of incognito. Like, people, they're like, you're working. We know you're working, but where are you?
Yeah. I know that.
Yeah, but then it's all going to be like, when you work so hard, it seems like it all comes out at once. It's like, bam.
Right.
You know,
it makes you look like you're extremely busy, but they're all done in sections.
Yeah. Or you did the thing is like, you'll show up on a movie set for, 4 days, and then all of a sudden they all get released at the same time. And you're like, okay. Like, I guess so. Do I have to buy a different dress for every event?
Yeah, right.
Like, this isn't fair.
Victoria DeMar in the prototype.
She's cool.
Yeah, we spoke to her.
She has a huge horror following, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really big. I have yet to do a good slasher film. Are you guys going to help me out with this or what? Yeah, like, I want to get killed. Hello.
Oh, well.
Bruce is the man to ask. Bruce knows everybody.
Yeah. I have, like, most of my movies that I've done have been, like, rom-coms, comedies, dark comedies, or a little bit of drama, but I have yet to do a good horror film. It's usually the sexy chick that gets killed, you know? And I thought it was sexy. I thought it was.
As you can't talk about any more films, would you like to give a mention to a couple of TV programs that you've been in, Dreams and Legit?
Legit, yes. Legit was great. I'm so happy that show is doing well. Jim Jeffries, you know, he's done stand-up for such a long time, and he is pretty... It was interesting to watch because it was the second episode that they had filmed, and he was still getting used to how to be framed and stuff like that. It was like cute to watch him learn. I was watching him, and he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, Jim, you're great. Like, just shut up. You know? But DJ's, he's cool. He's been acting for forever, and he does character parts, and it's a great show idea. Have you guys seen Legit?
No. I don't watch much TV.
It's funny. It's funny. The brother's like a paraplegic, he can't move, and it's like they kind of take him around, and the comedy is like he has this paralyzed brother, and then like this Jim Jeffries character kind of uses his friend's brother as being paralyzed as like an excuse to like get women to come around. So he's like I think like the third episode or something, they take the paraplegic brother to like a brothel house in Reno and get him laid. It's just ridiculous.
You mentioned about horror films. Do you have a favourite?
Yes. Okay, so if we're doing classic horror films, like you can't go wrong with Hitchcock, Psycho, shower scene.
Take care.
Take care.
We'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.